What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Steph Speaks Radio. Today I have with me Dr. Mary, who also happens to be a really good friend of mine, and most of you guys who have me on social media probably also see Mary on there because we do a lot of videos in the gym at Code Chiro. So for those that maybe don't know you, give us a little bit about who you are.
Well, my name's Mary, like you said, Mary Teague. I am a co-owner. My husband and I own Code Chiro, opened about, I think, 10 years ago in February. It will be 10 years. And we were kind of definitely we're both chiropractors. That's our background. That's our specialty. That's what our degree is in. But that being said, we work more towards like performance and movement-based kind of stuff. I do more, I would say, female, postpartum, pediatric. That's more my specialty.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, we already know we can talk about a million things, which we have on our other interviews and the stuff we post online. But today we're going to be talking about the phases of the cycle and just female physiology, because this is so important. I know me and you wanted to do this because we both said we have so many people come to us about these topics. And a lot of women think that they operate the same as men. So we can start this from all sides of the coin. But I think the first thing I kind of want to explore and have you talk about is like, what is the difference in male versus female in terms of like, you know, how men operate on the same cycle the whole month versus we're a little bit different?
Okay, so let's just complexity-wise. Like, I mean, we talk about females. We are so complex. Well, let's start with a male cycle, or just like the normal hormonal trend for a male is it's very simple in that it's the same almost every single day. And that's for most men. Don't get me wrong. There can be highs, lows. And if you're experiencing any symptoms of that aren't great, then we should get blood work. But that being said, usually wake up in the morning, testosterone is high. That's when it's the highest, usually when we wake up, that morning time period, or not we, but when they wake up at that morning time period. And then it starts to dwindle and go down throughout the day. So it's this bell curve, high and then steadily goes down, they go to sleep, it goes back up, they wake up, it's at its highest. So that's why they're very predictable. At least their hormonal cycle is very predictable. So like training for them, the way they feel, their energy, their mood is usually very predictable. As for the female hormonal cycle, it's complex, it's intricate, and things can affect it. Just sleeping badly, we can get into that. But essentially you have 4 phases. You have your menstrual phase, which is the beginning, that marks the beginning of your cycle. And everybody's a little different. It's between 1 and 7 days, I would say. I would say that sweet spot's usually around 5, but 1 and 7 is usually that sweet number that people talk about. And then we go into my favorite phase, which is that follicular phase. We love the follicular phase. And of course, it's the shortest, or at least it feels the shortest. Yeah. And then ovulation, which that's a great place to be as well. But then we head into that luteal phase, and that's that 3rd phase, and we're just like, it's not the best. Actually, that's 4th phase. Sorry, and it's not the best. But there's ways to optimize and feel as good as you possibly can. But also just understanding those phases really, really helps, and how you can feed your body, train for your body, and all those things.
Yes. And I mean, obviously, we're going to start breaking that down here in a second. I want to go back, though, on how you even said, you know, a lot of women, we almost try to operate the same as men while disregarding the fact that there are 4 phases. Like, I mean, we see it in things like intermittent fasting. We see it in things like cold plunging. We see it in things like just the grind hustle culture. Like, we cannot operate the same every single day. As like you said, men, they have like that bell curve, right? But it's the same every single day versus us. It's just that ain't it. That ain't it. And it's a lot of people though, they don't understand. They just don't understand the differences in like how to move through in different ways. Like, you know, it's crazy. I have so many women that come to me in the gym, and I've had clients that told me they literally don't know they just think they have a period and then that's about it. They don't understand.
I get that all the time. I literally have a 23-year-old patient that asked me the other day, like, I mean, it sounds terrible, but she asked me about she asked me about birth control, and she didn't understand ovulation. She didn't understand you can get pregnant only during certain times of the month. Like, I had to do like I don't know, when do we learn sex ed? I don't even know that. Like
maybe like middle school.
Yeah, middle school sounds right. Or like right before you go into middle school. Whatever. Like I had to like kind of break things down in that moment, and I'm like, there's a divide. We need also like, I mean, even I've learned more since, I mean, my hormonal background, like just learning myself,
Right.
like lots of crazy stuff there. And then having a baby, nursing, postpartum, like shit is wild. Like,
Yeah.
and just learning that and like learning how to accept it in certain times of the month and just like what is normal, what's not normal, what's common, what's not common. It's a whirlwind, and just educating women on that is so helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to break this down in the most
Let's do it.
everything because, and I think the main thing I want to focus on for each phase to start, because we're going to talk about obviously first the cycles, but then we're going to go through how to adapt that with your training and lifestyle. Now, I want to focus on progesterone, testosterone, and estrogen for each phase, and then having people understand what's high, what's low, and what that means. Because I feel like some people don't even know what those hormones are or do, and what the benefits, or I guess you could say pros and cons of each direction of those hormones are. So let's start with the menstrual phase first. So
menstrual is an easy one. It's basically low on everything essentially. So like progesterone's gone down, estrogen's down. So like your mood's down, you have higher systemic inflammation. You're just overall, you don't feel your best, but you probably don't feel as bad as you did 5 to 7 days prior to your actual period. That being said, there's cramps and stuff but that's just because, I mean, your uterine lining, the word is terrible, but it sloughs off. Sorry.
Ew.
You can bleep that if you need to. It's terrible. But so that's the crappy part of periods. You just overall, just everything's down, but progesterone's not as high. So maybe you just don't feel as like puffy, like fat. Yeah, you don't feel as fat and just and your digestion isn't as slow. So like that's usually menstrual phase, but it's also a time for higher systemic inflammation. So with higher inflammation, smoother muscle is more relaxed, so you're more likely to get injured at this time. Same thing goes for that luteal phase as well. So you just want to make sure that you're training accordingly because those hormones are so important at that time, and you don't want to train in a way that's going to spike your cortisol, and we can come back to cortisol when all of this is done.
Yeah.
You don't want to train in a way or stress your body in a way that's going to impact you when you're already in a stressed state. So like good things for that, like yoga. Yoga's great, mobility, or even just like not strength, but maybe just not PR strength. Maybe it's technique work. Technique work is such a good time to focus on in your menstrual cycle and in your menstrual phase. Yeah.
And I'm probably gonna go over this on each phase, but we'll start here because we're in menstrual.
Yeah.
The mentality of like when you're heading to the gym, you're going in for your workout, you know, what does that usually look like, especially in the menstrual phase? Because I know for me, I have been a big advocate of checking in where I'm at in my cycle and then approaching my workouts for the week from whatever phase I'm in.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like, you know, always put this pressure on myself. I have to go balls to the wall. I got to perform in the gym, and then beating myself down when I wasn't where I was one week and in another week, right? But on the menstrual phase, you know, I guess you can even tell us an example of maybe how you like to train when you're in that phase.
I would think about it in terms of like, let's say a sprint versus or percentage wise of like effort, right? So like there's different workouts or high intensity interval training. I usually do 3 to 4 high intense interval trains, CrossFit-esque workouts per week. But when I'm in my menstrual phase, I really go back to accessory strength, and I focus more on accessory strength at least 3 to 4 of those days. So I basically replace my HIIT workouts with accessory strength and mobility. So I'll do like a 30-minute leg day, right? But like on straight dumbbells, accessory movement, and then I'll do like a 20-minute mobility session after, and I always feel better that way. And that's kind of how I replace and change the way I train personally. I know some people like really love going to yoga. I encourage it, and this is like the time of the year for it when it's cold like this. Hey, it's time for hot yoga. So like incorporating that too, maybe 1 or 2 of those days, recovery days. Include a recovery day, because recovery is so flippin' essential for your hormonal cycle to work as properly as it possibly can too. So menstrual phase is such a good time to like really harp on those things.
Yes, 100%. And like, you know, obviously we're talking about it here right now, but obviously me and you recently did a video too, even just showing people like things they can do in the gym in terms of like mobility, stretching, this, that, and the other. Like, yes, of course, you're still still go and do your workouts, just modify it as needed. But also we were talking about different ways that you could go through a certain mobility flow to help ease cramps or just like put your body in a better position since it's not feeling A1.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just focus on those things. Like, just write yourself a plan. Or, I mean, it's so much easier to follow someone else's programming, and I encourage it. I encourage people to follow other people's programming or have a coach.
Yeah.
I'm a do as I say, not as I do, because I do not follow another person's program. I follow my own programming, and it is exhausting. So don't do what I do. Get on a programming or a women's based programming is so helpful. And it's somebody that actually works into the fact, or maybe they have a hormonal cycle mindset of programming. That would be ideal.
That's awesome. So a lot of people don't take that into account
At all. I don't think anybody does. At least I haven't found anybody just yet. Not in terms, I've found so many like postpartum, prenatal, like women's health, and I love that. But like just to have a program based on, hey, if you're in your luteal cycle or your luteal phase or your follicular phase, freaking get it, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, let's go a little bit in transition into follicular, which is my personal favorite.
Well, I mean, whose isn't it? If it's not your favorite, something's wrong.
Like people,
your hormones are screwed.
And when and for you guys listening too, like it's like when you actually learn and understand the phases, you're gonna be like, okay, now
I'm in my follicular phase.
Yes, I literally like live my life around this. Like it's a joke, honestly, at this point. But like truly, it is a difference. So obviously, like right after your period, after you get through those, you know, like you said, it's what 5 to 7 days.
I say 1 to 7.
1 to 7.
Yeah, but usually it's 5.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. Then we're gonna go into the follicular. So tell us about what testosterone, progesterone, estrogen looks like.
So essentially, basically, as we exit the menstrual phase, we enter that follicular phase, and this is all about like your follicle forming. It's preparing you for ovulation. So that estrogen hormone starts to go back up. Yeah. You see this general and gradual rise before it like peaks, and then it peaks again. So estrogen is really, really, really great for energy. It's your feel-good hormone. It makes you, it's really good for insulin sensitivity. So like your body is actually working more efficiently.
Yeah.
So your energy is more readily available. Sugar's getting into your cells easier. Like you're just functioning better. So this is that time where you just feel better. You feel skinnier, like because you don't have progesterone making you feel puffy and retaining that water and just slowing digestion. And like, so everything is just functioning a little bit better. And so that gradual rise, peak, down a little, and then super peak when you get into ovulation. That's usually that flow of that estrogen. And you have testosterone's not like the biggest play here. You have a little peak, that kind of thing. Yeah. I focus way more on the estrogen aspect of things. And when you find, especially for the female hormonal cycle, that's generally how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So like typically you can say during this phase, it might be like a really good time to hit your PRs,
do your HIIT workouts, go high intensity. And the thing is, I want to put a caveat in that is that maybe you don't feel that way. Like not everybody feels that way in their follicular, or maybe you just don't know. Maybe you just realize, wow, I'm feeling freaking good today. Yeah. You're more likely than not in your follicular phase, and this is the listen to your body. Yeah. And if you want to go for it, if you want to be more high intense, maybe you just have more, not necessarily energy, but drive. You have more drive to hit a workout harder. More likely than not, you're in that phase. Do it. Listen to your body.
And I also find too, I mean, this is just personal again, because I've been actively doing this now for about 2 years. I've been really into it just to kind of like learn how my body responds. My motivation is more there. I have more clarity when I go to the gym. I start to actually like my lifts again, and I'm not in pain.
You're like, I don't hate this. I love this.
Yeah, like I actually want to lift, because it's funny because like, you know, when I'm driving to the gym or I'm about to hit my work and I'm like, okay, I know that my body is in support of me wanting to squat heavier today or like wanting to go harder, and like I'm going to recover better. I'm going to maybe have more natural energy, if you will. So that's kind of like always my mentality around it. At least for me, I do feel better around that time.
Dude. Same. Yeah. So same.
Yeah. And I mean, now, so, okay, I think a lot of people don't realize that follicular and ovulation kind of like smack each other
Yeah.
back to back. I have some thoughts on that, but first I want you to go into the ovulation now.
Okay, so it's ovulation is such a small window.
Yeah.
It's a great window.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be fair, some people do feel some pain when ovulating. It's actually a smaller number
have
than you.
it.
Okay, so
It's
you're
horrible.
that
I hate it.
You are that person. So you might
When
feel
I walk it,
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say maybe like one-sided is usually how it is. It's
called
usually
middle schmers.
It's literally like a burst. Like what did you just call it?
No, Mary, it's called middle schmers.
Oh my god.
You've never heard of that?
I heard you say something different. Okay.
When you have ovulation pain, the medical term is middle schmers.
You just taught me something.
Oh my God, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for that. So the middle schmears, some people experience that, not everybody. But usually, that being said, this is when your estrogen peaks.
Yeah.
That triggers luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone is literally the hormone that goes, okay, time to ovulate. And then you let out an egg. Either the egg is fertilized or not. Egg goes away, right? So we don't have to go in that part of things, but that's what happens. That's when your estrogen's the highest.
Yeah.
That's when you are feeling probably the most vivacious, probably the strongest. This is such a good time to push yourself in the gym, PRs, heavy lifting, HIIT workouts, any of that, like push yourself. And then you get a dip.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, something that I learned, which is you may or may not have, I've been just learning this recently. I thought it was really interesting to bring on here. I always associate this with the luteal phase, which I know we're going to get into this shortly.
Yeah.
But joint laxity is actually the highest in ovulation. I'm not saying it's not in luteal, but in ovulation phase, I remember I was seeing a video or reading a post about this, like about a study about like people having more like ACL tears or injuries
During their ovulation?
like athletes, like female athletes. Like there was this conversation around a higher increase of these sports injuries happening around the ovulation phase due to the joint laxity because of where your hormones are. Have you? This is new for me.
Yeah, I haven't read that
It's
information whatsoever. And honestly, I don't really go into the joint laxity stuff as much as even through all the phases. I don't really. I care about it because it's a stability issue. You're supposed to have stability. But if you're training all year round, if you're training in a if you're doing resistance training, which every single person should be doing some form of resistance training, regardless of what it is. I don't care what it is, but resistance training is necessary for everyone.
Yeah.
Every single person.
Yes.
So if we're doing resistance training and we have stability already, I don't go so hard on the ligament laxity because I don't even, I treat prenatal patients and
That's true.
my patients a lot of them are pregnant, right? So ligament laxity comes with the territory. And I wholeheartedly encourage to continue that resistance training. So maybe if you're just like worried about that research and going for a PR because of the ligament laxity, you're going, and again, that's just listening to your body. That's you deciding if you're going to listen to your body or not. So I don't harp on it usually.
Yeah. I will say it is for me, and I'll get more in depth on the luteal phase talk. As you know, I've been seeing you for my SI joint because my SI joint dysfunction problems. Anyways, one of the reasons I was getting even more into the whole, for me at least, like the hormone shifts with like the joints and whatnot, because I was noticing a difference in my training with how my SI joint was feeling during different phases.
Yep.
So I did substitute or change around my programming or certain exercises a little bit more in the luteal.
Good.
I wasn't focused as much in the ovulation, but I did find like my SI joint did feel significantly better in certain phases versus others.
You are hypermobile.
Well, yes.
So that's a caveat too.
Oh,
so like
that's true.
You have to keep in mind that you are a hypermobile person.
Good point.
So hypermobility already lends towards hyperlaxity of joints and ligaments.
Yeah.
So you're already fighting that uphill battle of hypermobility, which is mobility is a great thing. Hypermobility is really hard to stabilize. Like it's easier to add mobility than it is to add stability.
Yeah.
And you're already hypermobile, so it's even harder to add stability to those areas. Yeah. So you're hypermobile plus luteal or ovulation stage, you're gonna probably feel a little bit more laxity in your joints.
Right. And the same thing like you said, or if someone's pregnant, it's the same thing. Like they have more laxity there.
Yep.
But this is why I think it's so important, not talking pregnancy, but just people in general, like how you said I am more hypermobile. It comes back, and I have this with every person that comes on here. It is not just black and white. Every person is different. Every body is different.
Yep.
And yes, we could go through all the things of your hormones of every single stage. We can give you all the information, but it really comes down to also just understanding your body and your anatomy in general.
Yeah. Gosh, you can go on that forever.
I mean, because you see so many people, so I know you can speak on that.
And that's why I'll always be like, with the caveat that this works for most people, or a lot of people feel this way, or a lot, like you already said it. I was like, some people do feel pain during ovulation. You're one of those people.
Right.
So everybody's different. And also some people feel like crap during their follicular phase. Why? Usually it's a disruption of hormones. Maybe their estrogen is doing something that it should not be doing. So not everybody feels this way during every single one of these phases. So like all 4 phases, you might not feel anything like I'm talking about. But this is just like kind of the most common.
Yeah.
And I hate saying normal because people, when something's common, people say it's normal, which is not true because pain is common and that's not normal. See what I'm saying? So I don't like putting them, and every person's different regardless of where you're at and what's causing those things.
That's the anthem of so many things in life. So thank you for just saying that sentence. You just blessed all of us. Yes. It's important because no one thinks about it and it's true and everything is different. But one thing we can all agree on, well, at least I think most of us, is that the luteal phase sucks. So we're going to talk about that next. I saved it for last because
the worst.
I know. It's like I absolutely hate it. So just like run with this.
I'll only complain about it to other women because it's like,
No.
I literally never bring it up. I'm never like to my husband, I'm in my luteal phase. Just don't talk to me. But like, it does explain a lot about how I feel and why I'm like, wait, don't be like that. Don't snap. Don't snap. Let's first talk about hormones. Okay. So we ovulated. Yay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now estrogen plummets. Progesterone takes over. So it's like a steady climb of progesterone. Progesterone peaks, and that the other shitty part is that your luteal phase is so long. Like it's like
I know.
15
It never
to
ends.
28 days, depending on what your cycle is. Your cycle might be 32 days. Like you might have like the longest luteal phase of all time. And it's so frustrating. But that being said, you usually feel pretty okay after the first couple days of ovulation. And then you just start to feel a little bit more down. For me, it's when I wake up in the morning and I feel like I got like hit by a bus. Yeah. And I'm like, yesterday was like a low-key day. Why do I just like, why is my body hurt? And progesterone, it's taken over and it's riding, it's in control. And it's not a terrible hormone. It's there for a reason. Its job is to slow things down.
Yeah.
So like if you are pregnant, your body is making sure that your body can accommodate a baby. That's what progesterone is doing. So that's why your digestion gets slowed down. That's why you start to feel puffy. It's why you start to feel inflamed and like systemic inflammation goes up. Those things happen. Your core body temperature goes up. That's for me one of my least favorite things because core body temperature going up is directly linked to disrupting circadian rhythm. So sleep can get screwed up. So then not only is your sleep screwed up, so you're not getting as much REM sleep, but so sleep is so important for recovery. And it's a really good time to recover is when you're in your luteal phase. However, you can't recover because your progesterone is effing you. Like, what are you supposed to, like, whatever. I'm complaining.
It's the truth.
But that's truly how it works. So progesterone peaks, starts to go down a little bit again, and then we're back in that menstrual phase. So training is very similar to the menstrual phase. You just want to like take it easy. Get in a sauna, do some stretching. Like I still work out. Like zone 1, great. Zone 2, like fine. Like just like keep it low key. And don't push yourself too much because you're not going to not make gains because you took a recovery day and then you took a low-key couple accessory days.
Okay, so like I guess in short, what would you say is the best way to support your body in the gym during this phase?
It's very similar to menstrual phase. Very similar. Like training, same. Honestly, in the beginning of luteal phase, though, you can still be probably pushing yourself pretty hard. Like
it's the second half for me.
That's what I'm saying. So that's this. The 7 to 5-ish days, for me, it's 8. I know when I'm exactly 8 days out from my period. I'm not joking.
Oh, wow.
I have an app, and I'll be like, in my mind, I'll go, I bet you I'm 8 days out from my period. Wow. And I'll open my app, and it's like 8 days. And I'm like, my body is too on it. Like, and it's the crappiest day. So between 8 and 5 days out from your period is usually the PMS symptoms. It's literally because your serotonin is down, too. So progesterone goes up, serotonin goes down. Serotonin makes you feel good. It's your happy hormone, right? Like, but now, like, it's gone or it's low. So you're more irritable, your anxiety goes up. So, like, that's PMS. So, and that's when it's peaking is right around that time.
Yeah.
So give yourself a break. Don't try not to be mean. understand why you are, apologize for it, and then it'll be over in like 2 to 3 days.
Oh my God. It's literally like clockwork with me every single time. I turn into like a T-Rex. Like I want to like rip people's head off. Like I can feel it. Like
Patience.
yes,
down.
I cry at like I'll just be talking to someone in the gym about a random conversation. Like she'll just tell me about her day and I'll just start crying. I'll be like, it's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm a Cancer and I'm really emotional. But I'll just be crying. I'm not kidding. My clients will vouch for this. I will just cry in the gym all the time. I'll be super emotional. I want to kill my boyfriend. It's like everything. Like I just like go through the walls and I'm like, I wonder if I have like PMDD. Like, is everyone okay? Like, are we all okay?
You're okay.
Yeah. You know my famous question, am I okay?
It is a common question. Yes, you're okay. But there are some things that we can do to help you.
Great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's when we go into cortisol.
Oh, yes. And again, so just like a real quick recap before we go into the cortisol. So again, in short, explain again the progesterone, estrogen from menstrual to...
Got it. Okay, so menstrual, think everything's down. Okay?
Low.
Everything's down. Then we exit menstrual. We're in follicular. Estrogen rises. Mm-hmm. Super peaks when you get into ovulation. Yeah. Goes back down after ovulation. Progesterone takes over. Estrogen, yay. Progesterone, I mean, not as great. So follicular, estrogen, luteinizing. I mean, not luteinizing, luteal, progesterone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, now that everyone understands that, now we can all agree that we just aren't necessarily allies to progesterone. Like it's here for a reason, but now everyone can at least like make sense that it's not just them going crazy.
But also if you don't have it, like if you don't have progesterone, you don't have a normal cycle or you don't have a very functional cycle. So you need to think about that too. So like that's when we go, like I've said it a couple times about the cortisol and just like stress and stuff like that. You need all of these things to be within their normal levels so that you can ovulate every month. It's really important to ovulate every month because that means you're having a happy, healthy cycle.
Women are like life, like, you know, the yin and the yang. You can't have the light without the dark. You can't have like estrogen without progesterone.
This is when you and I are not the same.
Like, yeah. No, it's true. Like, women are synonymous with the world and life. And, like, we are just...
we are life, yeah.
Bow down to us. All right, so now we're going to talk about cortisol because everyone loves this one.
Everybody loves cortisol.
Yes.
But it's true. So, like, cortisol is actually kind of a good thing in little amounts, right?
Yeah.
Like, it can make you freaking hit it. It can make you perform. Like, you want a little bit of that stress hormone. Like, you want it there, right? Let's make sure that we talk about it during certain types of the like phases. So when you want to like control that cortisol a lot too, like so that don't add extra cortisol. So don't add extra stress. Cortisol literally steals the raw materials to make sex hormones. So therefore, if you have increased cortisol production, that means your sex hormones are not being, and that let's say estrogen and progesterone are not being prepared and made the way they're supposed to. So therefore, those go down. So if you have increased cortisol, you have decreased estrogen, progesterone. Therefore, we are not probably ovulating as normally as we should on that clockwork schedule that it should be going without ovulation or without those estrogens that feel good. So we probably don't feel as good all the time. Progesterone's in charge of slowing things down, making sure the body's prepared to have a baby. So you're not ovulating more likely, or it's anovulation or irregular periods. And therefore, if you're having irregular periods and that stuff, you probably don't feel very good. But there's different things that can raise cortisol. There's so many different things. And like, oh gosh, like let's first and foremost, sleep.
I was about to say lack of sleep.
Freaking sleep. Sleep is so important, especially for females. I mean, what are the studies showing? I know some people want to say like 2 hours or whatever, but I think really research supports between 20 and 60 minutes more per night for a female. And that's just because we clear cortisol slower than males. That's what it is, okay? So, like, it takes us longer during our circadian rhythm is so affected by our hormonal cycle. So, like I already said, if you have progesterone makes your body temperature go up, makes it harder for you to get that circadian rhythm. It disrupts it, right? So you're already more likely to have those fluctuations of circadian rhythm. So cortisol is even harder to clear. So cortisol takes longer for women to clear throughout the night. That's when we clear it, right? Men just do it quicker. So our sex hormones are affected by cortisol. So we just need a little bit longer time to do that. Also, our mind activity is usually across the board heightened. We need longer time to recover because that's more work equals more recovery. So recovery, 100%. Sleep, so important. Otherwise, your cortisol is just going to go up. And let's just like put cortisol as the same as stress. Okay, let's just say that's a stressor. And then there's high intensity interval training without off days, or just like
overtraining.
Yeah, like just constantly, like 7 days in a row, no off days, no recovery days, especially through like your luteal phase. That's a high stressor. That's a high cortisol producer. Under eating, so constantly a caloric deficit. We'll talk about intermittent fasting if you want to talk about that.
I would love to talk about that.
But like a caloric deficit is already a stressor. It can be a good stressor sometimes, right? Like cold plunging is a stressor, but it can be a good stressor, right? I said cortisol can be good. It's just you want to incorporate them during the proper times, especially as a female. You want to make sure you're smart about that.
I got to say this one.
And diet. Diet's a big one too. Stressor. Okay.
I'm going to tell you something, and I already know that you see this with your women too, as I do mine. So we're overtraining, we're under eating, we're not getting sleep, and then we're drowning ourselves in caffeine.
Caffeine, I didn't even mention it. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I chugged it on the way here.
Same. So like what do we say? Do as we say, not as we do.
No. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Everyone just don't listen to that. But like, okay, even if someone's not necessarily like, right, you have people like us that can most definitely overtrain. We are past athletes. We are fitness enthusiasts. We can go down that hole. But, we have people that, or I have my girls, maybe they don't necessarily overtrain, like they're in the gym, they're doing their things, but they are stressed out people. They're not doing the things they need to do to control their stress from maybe like a mindfulness standpoint. We're under fueling or fueling of not the most advantageous things. But then, like I said, coffee first thing in the morning or just drowning in it. I mean, all these things are raising cortisol.
For sure. Yeah. All of those things. Like truly the caffeine, I should have said that is,
yeah.
But let's just say over caffeine, because then that attacks your adrenal glands and like,
right.
And also caffeine before anything else. So like, and without chugging water, maybe doing like a greens drink or something like that, like flush things out before you get caffeine in, especially if you are an intermittent faster, and we can go down that road too. It's the stressor, it's the constant fatigue. You're just pouring gasoline on a fire that's already like on fire,
Well, just in terms of like cortisol, and then like we said, just like our hormones in general, like estrogen, progesterone. On my way driving here, it was ironic. I actually had a client just text me. She's like, hey, I wanted to ask, what are your thoughts on intermittent fasting? So applicable, we can talk about it here. And I know there's a lot of different perspectives and angles on this, but I'm curious, just from your knowledge and research you've done and things you've seen, what is your perspective on it for women specifically?
Okay, so yes. Okay, I have like kind of, I might have, I don't know, conflicting views on this. Like some people might be like, well, that's BS, or be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I am neither absolutely no or absolutely yes on the subject. I don't think this is when it's not good. Okay. It's not good if we are on a constant caloric deficit already, right? Like think of it as chronic stress, becoming chronically stressed. So if you're chronically already stressed, intermittent fasting is not good for you. So if you're already waking up wired and shaky, it means that your body is literally screaming, hey, feed me, okay? So it's not a good time to go, okay, I'm going to wait till noon to eat, right? That is not a good time. That's a double stressor, right? So we stress because we're already in caloric deficit. Our insulin sensitivity is definitely being affected here. Like we don't want to stress again. So we're at the constant caloric deficit. If your periods are already affected, if you're already having irregular periods, and then we add in intermittent fasting, so we already know that sex hormones are affected. So that means there's a stressor happening. Our cortisol is probably higher already. And then we add in intermittent fasting. That's like a double stressor. We don't want to triple stress things out, right? Like, so there's different categories that this intermittent fasting is not a good idea for. However, I think one of the most recent researches and studies it's like a 2023. I could be wrong. I think it's a 2023 study where they did like a control group, and these were women with normal cycles. So like within that time period that they consider normal, that 28 to 30, 32, 33 days, the normal cycle length, right? So that was their control, and some of them intermittent fasted and some of them didn't. And within, I can't remember the time period of the study, nobody saw any difference whatsoever in blood work of hormones at the end of it. So that was normal. That's the thing. I would not suggest it for this, and I would not suggest it for this. However, it can be one of those it can be one of those good stressors for some people. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just need to pick your stressors. You don't want to triple, and also throughout your phases.
I was about to say, so I had another client, we talked about this. She was not looking to necessarily intermittent fast every single day, but to implement, she wanted to do one of those 48 or 72 hour fasts, which I think are really cool. I think there's a lot of benefits to those.
Yeah.
but she was just doing them kind of like whenever. And
No, disagree with that.
Exactly, because you don't want to do it in certain phases. I'll let you, I know you have something to say on that.
Yes. 100% you want to pick when you do it in your cycle.
Yeah.
Because you, again, triple stressor, right? Like, so it's already a stressor. You're already going to spike cortisol by doing this because you're stressing your body out. So you don't want to do it in an already stressed situation. So doing it during your luteal phase is probably not a good idea.
Exactly.
Doing it during your menstrual phase, definitely not a good idea. So luteal and menstrual, just keep those off limits for fasting in terms of long fasts, right?
Yeah.
And 48 to 72 hour fasts, even 24-hour fasts, the whole point is to trigger autophagy, so the cell's ability to eat bad things. Exactly. Okay, that's the whole point, or at least that's from my perspective. That's the point. There's other you want to lose weight. Okay, there's that too. So from my perspective, it's make our body eat the bad crap in our body.
Yeah,
that's what a longer fast is for.
Right.
Intermittent fasting, that's eating within certain periods. I also encourage that, or if we're going to do it, I do make sure that we do shorter fast periods during our luteal and menstrual phase, especially if you wake up during your luteal phase. If you're a normal intermittent faster, okay? For instance, you do like a 16 and 8 hour window. So we don't eat for 16, we eat for 8. So we don't eat after 7 and we don't eat until 11 the next day. Okay? So that's fine. As long as you're not in your luteal phase, like 5 days out from your period, and you're waking up every morning like freaking starving. And when you ate last at 7, you're shaking and you're just drinking black coffee until you can get to 11 just so you can make that mark. That is not healthy. That is not good for you. You shouldn't be shaking and holding on for dear life. The whole point of intermittent fasting is to make, not the whole point, one of the points of intermittent fasting is to affect insulin sensitivity, is to make it so that your insulin is doing its job the way it's supposed to do as well as it possibly can. And if you're just doing it to white knuckle it and get past depending on what your goals are behind intermittent fasting, I think that's what you really need to take a look at. But definitely during phases of your cycle.
Depending on what your goals are behind it. I'm really glad you said that because I think it's important, and I've said this on so many things. Don't just go and do things blind because you see other people doing it and because you see it on social media.
Exactly. Good Lord. We preach.
Yeah. Okay. I had an interview with Kylene on here. We had this whole conversation about it. Same thing. It's like, it's hard because I think a lot of women, again, like I said, I was driving here and a client asked me about intermittent fasting. I have questions about things or that of the like, or just anything around these different conversations all the time. But the problem is people see things online and they don't know what to do or not to do.
Or they just do it all.
Exactly.
Gosh, it scares me.
I know, but it's like, it's hard, but that's the thing. It's like, again, it's like, that's why it's important for women that do kind of have an understanding of this stuff to speak on it, because if not, you're just looking at anyone who's posting stuff on TikTok that's just doing it because they saw someone else do it, or because maybe like they get it from a male perspective who's going to have a different approach to things than females.
For sure.
So I don't know. I like to always point that out because I just think there is such a plethora of information. And like when we talk about these things, it's to empower and educate and then do with that information as you will. But like, it's really just, you got to understand your body and know like, okay, am I doing this to get myself from point A to B for me? Or am I just doing this because I see that it could do this and I've seen it work for someone else?
Oh gosh, you can go down the supplement train with that one. Like all of those things that can apply to so many things. I think first and foremost, you just need to set your goal. What is your goal?
Yeah.
Is your goal to lose weight?
Yeah.
I mean, because I would say 99% of the time, women usually just want to lose weight.
I know.
Right? Like, or feel better in their clothes. I hate the scale because I can feel, I joke about it all the time. I weigh the exact same, or like I wish we could like clip a picture of me. Oh, like we're not going to.
Oh, would you like me to?
It makes me want to throw up.
Okay, I won't do that. I'm sorry.
Truly, like 12 years ago, picture of me then versus me now, same weight. Weight is completely different. Just like soft Mary versus not soft Mary, and like it's just. I hate focusing on weight, but I do know, let's just say feel thinner. That's 99% of the time, women just want to feel thinner.
Yeah.
But they don't not always care about how they get there. So if somebody on TikTok or Instagram or whatever is telling them, all you have to do is this juice cleanse for 3 straight days and you will feel and be this. Or you need to intermittent fast where you only eat 2 hours of the day. Like, it's just wild. And I get it because we usually go into those trends based from a place of hopelessness, but I just feel like if you empower and educate and you know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it, it helps so freaking much.
I agree. I agree. And, you know, something else actually just popped in my head actually, because, you know, as we're talking about all these different things and things women could or couldn't do to get to certain places, we're talking about the hormones, we're talking about cortisol. What about the women? Because I know someone listening is thinking this. What if someone's on birth control? Because, you know, obviously my perspective with tracking my cycle and living my life in the ways I do and tracking things the way I do, I personally have never been on birth control. So
Good for you.
see, thank you. Because at first I used to think that wasn't a win until I got older and I started to learn that maybe that's not such a bad thing. And obviously my cycle's always just kind of been what it is. I don't know what it's like to potentially be on birth control. Like, does this affect, like, as we're talking about all these things, like, what does that mean now for someone listening?
Gosh, okay, so I'm the opposite of you, okay? So
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons that I'm in, or I'm curious, or I learn more about female health is because of my journey in the hormonal world of being a female. When I was 16, I was put on birth control because, I mean, I hate talking badly about like medical mainstream. It's there for a reason and it does a really good job in so many ways. But in this moment, we very much trusted. When I was 16, because I'm almost 35, I am not 35 yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Happy
But I'm
almost
almost
birthday.
35. I don't love it. But that being said, when I was 16, during that time, it was if you have bad, irregular periods, and I was missing school 3 to 4 days every single month from like puking, literally wouldn't walk, like what's wrong with me? Little do I know more now about the reasons probably behind that, but during that time, it was put her on birth control. And it was right. Like, it literally, as soon as they put me on birth control, I didn't have any of those symptoms anymore. Like, gone, shoop, done. And then I would get a period every month. It's a fake period. It's not, I mean, it's just, it's basically like medically castrating us in terms of like our hormonally castrating us in terms of how it functions, right? Like that curve, there's no, all of the ebbs and flows of estrogen and progesterone, it's disrupted. And I was on it for over 10 years.
That's I have girls come to me and they'll be usually in their 30s and they're like, yeah, I went on birth control at like 14, 15 years old.
Oh, yeah, no, I was 16 years old, and I did not go off of it until the moment I was married.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was trying to conceive. It was just if I do conceive, I'm cool with it, right?
Right.
And it was over 6 months before I got my period back. And even then, I got my period, and then I missed it for 3 months. And then it came back. So the irregularity, so people think that you just go off the pill and everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a period. I didn't even get I didn't maybe even ovulate for another 6 to 8 months after I went off the pill. Maybe. I don't know, because I wasn't like peeing on strips every day, measuring my temperature. But and then my hormones went crazy. Like my face just broke out. I have pictures of it. Like my hormonal acne. It's like I was a freaking 16-year-old again.
Right.
And it probably took 2 years for that to fully regulate. And then I got pregnant.
On top of all of it.
And then your hormones, actually, I think that pregnancy is kind of awesome because you can predict the way you're going to feel. Like
That's fair.
I knew it was kind of like I was a boy. That sounds really bad, but it's like, I'm waking up like this, and I'm going to be tired by 2:30 probably.
Like
and,
you knew.
Yeah, and you know what you're getting. Postpartum, you could do a whole podcast on how you feel postpartum.
I was afraid to bring that one up today.
Hormonal stuff. Good Lord. So that's why I dove so hard into the realm of hormones, because it is just wild, and it takes your body a while to figure it out. And and then nursing. Good Lord. Yeah.
Well, if someone is, because again, I'm asking just because I don't know, if someone is on birth control, like, are they still gonna still have like normal feelings and symptoms of menstrual, follicular, ovulation, luteal, like how say I would, who's not on birth control?
Me personally, no, I did not have that whatsoever.
Interesting.
No, it was just like a stable kind of situation.
So it was always just kind of the same for you almost.
Yeah, that's what I remember. To be fair though, I was kind of stupid. I didn't
know.
I always tell people, why would you know if you're not supposed to know? You know, it wasn't my job to know.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to know. I was just living and doing the things I was told to do. So, and then I went to school and learned it.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, it's a little odd. So I encourage people. I understand birth control. I understand the reason behind it. I understand its effectiveness, and there are other ways to do it. I encourage, if you're willing to do it, to track it through more natural means.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been doing, and it's like it never opened my eyes until I started training so many women on it, and I had conversations, because now 10 years working with women and having conversations every week about hormones, periods, all these things, and majority of my girls are on it, it made me realize, oh, it is different that I'm not on it.
Oh yeah.
And then the girls, like you said, it is a little alarming when people get off of it though, because I mean, I had one client, it was interesting. She was on it for, I mean, probably 10 plus years. It was covering up PCOS she didn't even know she had.
Yep.
She went off and she realized this whole time she had PCOS and then had to now go on a whole protocol the last couple of years to now heal that.
That's usually how they medicate PCOS too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's just let's just make everybody's hormones the exact same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it is. Like I have a patient that she had underlying PCOS. Honestly, there's just a lot of stuff that
I know
has been going on with her specifically. And
Yeah.
it's like so frustrating because I'm like, I want to help you figure this out. You don't fit into that normal caliber of having PCOS. Like there's PCOS in a book, the way you're taught it.
Yeah.
There's like a certain person, the way it looks, the way
Right.
she looks, and the way her symptoms are, and those things.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, okay, she's a candidate for PCOS, but there's different types of PCOS. So it's just really, and it's usually you go to maybe your normal OB/GYN, and they're like, well, these symptoms, let's just put you on birth control. It's the number one question I was asked multiple times postpartum, like, or even while I was still pregnant. They don't ask you what's your plan for recovery. Do you plan on seeing a pelvic floor specialist? Which, by the way, every single person
Yep.
every single woman
Yeah.
should see a pelvic floor specialist. Just saying. But it wasn't never, not once was I asked that question. But I was asked 5 times before I had a baby, what's your plan for birth control after you have the baby? I'm like, I don't know. I have a husband. Like, relax. Like,
Right.
you know, why is that the question? Why is that where we are putting so much of our emphasis?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's so, oh my gosh, thank you for bringing this up. I actually just had a interview, I haven't aired it yet, last week, and her Instagram handle is actually called Postpartum Dietitian, but she's all about postpartum. We had over an hour conversation just about postpartum, and I learned so, I was blown away.
Dude.
I was listening and I was just, I told her after, I said, you just awakened a whole, like the thing, because she's very more of a functional approach to things, of course, and like how to rebalance naturally and all the things going on. And it just blew my mind how much is going on through women's bodies, not just through the phases of our cycle, but then pregnancy, postpartum, all these things. And it's always the same thing of, okay, well, let's just slap it with birth control again, or let's just take this and do this. But like, there are ways to balance and naturally get yourself back to a better space, but people just don't know how. And one of the things I really was talking about from her, it's like, it's really important to have data on your body, whether that is blood work, HTMA tests, Dutch tests. I mean, because it's like, she does all these testings on her population of women. And when people either they were on birth control, then get off, or they are freshly, or not even freshly, maybe a year postpartum, even maybe 2 years postpartum.
Yeah.
And she sees these trending levels of like super low minerals or like levels all over. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's depletion. Yeah.
Depletion. That's the word I was thinking of. Yes, she said a lot of depletion
Yeah.
of minerals and all that.
Yep. It's depletion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a baby is hard.
Yeah.
On your body.
Yeah.
That's also why I tell people, like, hey, I know that we want to have, like, sometimes it's like, oh, I know you want to have babies close together. And I call it the 6-month hormonal trick. It's like you get 6 months in, or you're 6 months postpartum, you're feeling yourself, feeling great. Your baby's so great because they're not moving yet. It's a trick.
Yeah.
Don't get pregnant. Don't get pregnant. Don't do it. Wait a year.
Yeah.
Wait a year. Let your body figure it out so that you're not in so much depletion. You're depleted still. Like, recover. But that being said, if you get pregnant, yay, I love babies. Let's figure it out.
Okay. Well, it's like one way or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, well, for you, how did you, I guess, not just, we can look at this from both ways, because obviously you have, unlike me, you have been postpartum and you were on birth control and got off. For both of these stages of your life, how did you, or what did the journey of rebalancing your hormones look like?
Oh, sheesh. Well, okay. After birth control, getting off birth control, I was still naive. I was just like,
Yeah.
really, that was more diet aspect of things. I
Yeah.
would say I very, very much threw myself into inflammatory lifestyle. It's like, what is causing inflammation in my life? How can I control it? And it wasn't as much about exercise. I was probably overtraining.
Yeah.
So that was not helpful. That's a stressor. I was definitely not eating as well as I could. So I knew that was one thing that I could dive into. So little by little, I started manipulating the way I ate. So it's like, no more processed foods. Got rid of processed foods altogether. Gone.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, only whole foods. Whole foods are great. Okay, no, only organic whole foods. We're going organic only.
Yeah.
Like, and this is years and years of like fine tuning and manipulating that. And you're all of a sudden you feel better kind of all the time because you're eating better. And then it's like digestion. How do I optimize my digestion? Why do I kind of like, I'm performing better, I feel better. However, my digestion is kind of shitty too. Like, so it's those little things, and they overall, like decreasing that systemic inflammation affected my hormones. I've started to feel better. It's my hormone, my cycle, very regular. I can like to the day, like know when it's going to happen. In fact, I have a girlfriend that texted me today. She goes, "When am I getting my period?" Because she's so synced up with me. Oh. She doesn't track hers whatsoever.
That's a real thing.
Is that not absurd? And I'm like, well, probably 1 to 3 days. My guess is 2 days. And she's like, sweet.
Nice. Is that a real thing, by the way? Because I always feel like when women are around each other, our periods sync up. Is this like...
They do. There's like a hormonal off-put thing. Like there's also like this thing with like best friends. They share like they can like neurotransmit together. I don't know what the words are. I'm not that kind of doctor at all, but that's like cool. They can get on the same wavelength. That's why you end up like dressing the same. And it's wild.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like all my clients, we all have our periods like together in harmony.
You spend a lot of time together.
Which is like my class, I'm on my period. I'm like, yeah, I'm on my period too. I'm like, wow. Then the next client comes in, just started my period. I'm like, wow, you too?
Yeah.
I'm like leading everyone together.
I call it the alpha. Yeah. So I'll be like, I'm the alpha.
That's amazing.
Yeah. If I'm first and then they all get it, I'm like, haha, alpha. And then I get upset if I'm the beta.
Oh, I know. It just makes it all worse. Like, I don't understand why. This is so complicated. Like, why do we have to be complicated?
I don't know.
I hate it. I hate it.
I know, but it is what it is. That's the other thing. It's just accept it and then like learn how to optimize it as the best you possibly can.
Yeah, like I said, you know, it's like changing the lifestyle for like all these things. Like, I mean, I'm learning every single year more and more. I feel like it's just like this continuum. Like one of the things that like for me with my population too, I just have to harp on probably every single week is like, you know, for like the cortisol and for hormones and all the things, right? Eating breakfast every single morning, but making sure we're eating in a way that's like balancing blood sugar, because I have people either like I said, coffee first thing in the morning, or don't eat at all, or they're just having something really high carb based instead of like no protein, no fat. So it's like I'm trying to teach people like, okay, how do we balance our blood sugar first thing in the morning?
Yes.
That is another one. I really feel like women, again, can't speak on men's physiology and stuff, but like with women, there is a correlation with balancing blood sugar and feeling a lot better.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Yeah.
Eat more protein.
Yeah.
And I didn't mention, I'm like, if you are going to eat, if you're not going to eat, like you need to be eating if you're going to do a high intensity workout in the morning. Like,
yes.
Like don't go deplete it. If you're constantly doing fasted, high intense or cardio or something like that, that's a huge stressor. So like keeping that in mind as well. I didn't say that earlier. I was like, oh yeah, poor sleep, but or irregular periods already. 100%. If you're gonna go in and hit it hard in the gym, you have to feed your body protein. Give yourself protein and fats. It's not. Nobody wants to go there. They're like, oh, I don't want fat. What are you talking about?
I know.
I will eat a stick of butter.
Ew, that's sick.
No, it's really gross.
Ew.
So my kids. Maybe not a stick, but I'll take a chunk out of it. I don't mind.
I'm gonna see you in the corner.
Oh,
like
Kerrygold stick of butter. I'll take a chunk of it. I don't mind it at all.
That's
in fact, and my
great to know.
My 1-year-old will be like, butter. I'm like, here you go.
I'm just picturing walking into your house and it's just you and your kids all eating sticks of butter together,
or sharing one.
That's amazing. Oh yeah, I would. Maybe not. I hope not everyone's eating one whole
gets
stick
their own,
of
but
butter.
we definitely share a stick of butter.
That's incredible. Well, that's the thing though. Like I was afraid of fat for so long. You know, coming back from bodybuilding culture and lifestyle and doing competitions.
Yeah. When
I was on prep for shows for those 3 years, it was always high protein, moderate carb, low to no fat. I think back on how low my fat was when I was getting ready for shows, and it did create this understanding within myself that was false, that fat is wrong, it's bad, I should not eat it, and I became terrified of it. And it was interesting when I got super low in body fat because I was doing a show. Yeah. But when I initially finished a show, when I was getting back into normal life, if you will, it took me 6 months to get my period back.
Yeah. Because you did a hormone disruptor situation.
Yes. Super low. My body fat was low and just my intake of fat was low. And it's just completely, I mean, I think from the time I stopped competing to getting just back to feeling quote unquote normal and balanced, my body didn't level out till a minimum of 2 years after competing.
Yep.
It was crazy.
It is extremely hard for bodybuilders, especially women. Yeah. Like I remember, I think it was my husband. I think it was Chad that literally was like, bodybuilding is super hard. And he was like, women need to be very cautious of
I
doing
know.
it. And it's because of the
Hormones.
your hormones. It's a stressor. It's a huge stressor to do that. Huge. So what do we say? Cortisol eats the raw materials that make your sex hormones. So your sex hormones, you can't ovulate. You can't have a cycle without sex hormones.
I also wanted to think too, because I had this sitting in my mind when you said earlier, we were talking about like HIIT workouts and different types of workouts and stuff like that. There's been a lot of conversation now around women and continuous like HIIT style of training. And I wanted to ask you your perspective, also someone that is CrossFit background and you train the certain way you do. I obviously train a little bit more bodybuilder style. But what about the female that is, let's just say F45 or Orange Theory every single day, or like 4 to 5 days a week, every month, every week? What is your thoughts on this?
It's great for your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for your heart.
Okay.
So there's your positive.
Okay.
And you will see results. You will get, I don't know, skinnier, stronger, whatever.
Yeah.
But you're going to get injured for sure, because you're also going to put your body into a state of chronic stress. And chronic stress creates chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation creates pain through the body, certain areas more likely to be injured. Chronic inflammation is everywhere. Systemic chronic inflammation that could disrupt your gut, like everything. Your sleep is crap. Like chronic systemic inflammation comes from chronic stress. Chronic stress is high intensity interval training without recovery. I mean, I've done an Orange Theory class. Holy hell, it is hard. Like it's an hour straight of just like
going.
And I'm like, I loved it because I love feeling depleted after a workout.
Me too.
But people do it every single day.
Oh yeah, girl.
Like, so it's not ideal. And I think we talked about that in terms of like just cortisol in general and like causing stress, and it can disrupt sex hormones and stuff like that. So I am not a proponent of it. And it's from a soft tissue base, from my background as a chiropractor, I'm going to go, all right, well, it's over volume. It's too much volume. You're putting way too much volume on these certain areas, and your body, it's going to break down. Something's going to break. So it's just not the best idea, for sure.
That's exactly how I feel about it. And I see it all the time. And it's like not trying. And for anyone listening, it's not meant to demean them or bring them down.
No.
Or like, and nothing said is ever for women that do the things that we're saying, don't do, or maybe not great to do. It's just like, if you don't know, you don't know. But that's where you got to talk about it. Because again, it's like there's a common denominator of all the synonymous things that most women do. And then they come to people like us, and it's like, we have to like change almost everything. And it's like, holy shit, because they just don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. You just don't know. My first and foremost goal, if anybody comes in to see me, is to educate.
Yeah.
Educate as much as I possibly can. And if I don't know the answer, I'd be like, I don't know. I've never heard that. Like, let's look into it. Yeah. Let's see what actually is correct. Because correct kind of changes too. So, and I'm also not the best doer of, I've said, do as I say, not as I do. Exactly. I'm not the best doer. I understand it. I usually know what's right. I have a good idea of what's right. Yeah. Do I always follow it? No. So try not to be so hard on yourself. Just do the best. I know. I just yell at you about it. I'm like,
yeah, I know you do. I'm like, you do the same shit.
I know. I'm allowed to.
It's okay. So the blind leading the blind, man. No, I'm kidding.
I know. I'm allowed to.
Yeah,
you're not.
I know.
I'm holding you to a higher standard than me.
I know. It's like we're just trying our best. Okay, so like if we gotta because we're gonna cap off here in a second, and I want to just take summary everything we talked about today. If you want to like round this out, leave everyone with that last bit of information and recap, what do you want to say to these people listening?
Don't be so freaking hard on yourself. Yeah, pretty much it. Like, yeah.
My job.
Seriously, everybody's so hard on themselves about everything, especially women. We overthink everything, which is, by the way, a stressor. Staff.
Moral. I know. I come in every day, and I literally, every time I see you, I feel like I'm either crying, I'm venting, I'm overthinking, or I'm asking you if I'm okay like 20 times.
Like dodging it.
Like I have something wrong like all the time. Like I'm always, but that's the thing, we're always in stress and we're in fight or flight. Listen, I will always say I'm never like kind of throwing myself under the bus, but it's like, yes, we can, like you said, we educate, we do our best, but yeah, I am burnt out. I'm running around nonstop. I have a million things on my plate.
Overstimulated.
Like you do. We both do. We're business owners and we are just we do a million things. Okay. We train the way we do. I mean, which is healthy, but like, you know, you and I could obviously overtrain or go really hard a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just all these different things. And then it's just like, life is life and you just do the best you can. And,
Stop being so hard on yourself.
yeah, that's pretty much where I was about to say again.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Took it.
Thanks for caring and trying to make me be better. I appreciate it. Okay.
Got you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That was a good one. You see that?
That's your sternum.
I know. That was my sternum, girl. That's a chiropractor.
Heart.
Okay. Oh, God. All right, guys. Well, that is all we have today. Mary, thank you for talking about all things females and hormones. I feel like we're going to have to make this a series because we can talk about a lot of things.
Oh, for sure. Now I want to talk about digestion.
Oh, yes. That's the next one. So you guys can see that in the next one.